Welcome back. Before we get to our next award, I'll just wait till everybody settles in. Before we get to our next award, I would like to introduce you to Ed. He's in the middle. You could figure that part out, I'm sure. Stephanie, right here next to me, and Dikla. Am I saying it right, Dikla? Dikla. These are 3 CSC participants. And as I said earlier when I first met you, that everybody has a story, and also that all stories are unique, there are always shared themes. So even though everybody's story is different, I think sometimes one of the many benefits of connecting with other survivors and caregivers is you feel like you have family and you speak the same language. When you're a cancer survivor or a caregiver or a family member of someone who has cancer, these themes are really important. To me, these stories become sustenance, and they feel like oxygen and hope and a lifeline. So for just a few minutes, I'm going to ask these wonderful CSC members a few questions about their stories, and then I'm going to pass the microphone over to them and hear what they have to say. And I'm going to begin with Ed in the middle. I know it's supposed to be ladies first, but whatever. This is Ed Hallen, and he is a caregiver. And before we do anything else, can we just have a huge, massive round of applause for caregivers everywhere? Oh, my goodness gracious. I was saying briefly to Ed right before we came up here, that in many ways, and this is not to any way underplay the experience of what it's like to be a cancer patient, but in many ways I felt like that the caregiver job was harder, or at least as hard as what I went through, because, you know, it's just they want you to get better and they feel hopeless. So we're going to hear about that. But so Ed, so what I want to ask you is, what would you say as someone who is a supporter, who would you say, or what would you say has been your biggest supporter?
Well, 2.5 years ago, my wife was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and it's been a struggle. At the diagnosis, we were lost, quite honestly, and we had friends that said, you need to go to CSC. We had each other. We held on to each other as hard as we could, and we weren't people that just walked into a new place and opened up, but we did walk into CSC. And it really saved us. I've got to say that anyone who contributes to CSC, anyone who works there, volunteers there, they're a gift. They were a gift to us, and they had a profound impact on our lives. So every day we wake up and say, thank you, CSC.
Thank you. Very well put. I'm going to jump over to Stephanie right now, right here next to me. Stephanie, hold on. So, also, I'm going to ask you the same question. Who or what would you say has been your biggest supporter? You can talk about that a little bit.
Okay. I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer in March of this year, and I underwent a bilateral mastectomy in April. And so I am here now and surviving. I was really lucky to have a lot of family and friend support. I want to thank my mom, who's out over in the audience. She was definitely my biggest supporter. She was with me in the hospital. She slept on the cot with me for several nights. She came from out of town and stayed with me for about a month. So I could not have done it without her, and I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't had her support. And the CSC was huge also for my support system. I remember after my surgery being at home just feeling really alone, and my social worker had recommended the CSC, and so I called them and made an appointment for the screening interview, and it was definitely one of the best things I've done. And the support has just been, I'm speechless from all the support I've gotten from there, and it's just been great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So glad you're here in this room. So glad you're on the planet. You hesitated for a moment when you said that you are here, you're a survivor. And when I was first diagnosed, I remember hearing Dr. Christy Funk speak, and I raised my hand and I said, I don't know if I'm allowed to say I'm a survivor, because I only was diagnosed like 5 weeks ago. She said, well, every day, from the day that you're diagnosed, every day that you're here, you're a survivor. And that really helped me a lot. It gave me a great perspective, so yay. Boy, wonderful. Okay, now, Ms. Dikla, positive things that have resulted. I want you to talk, if you would, a little bit about your diagnosis and what it means to be in a long-term situation like you are. You're amazing. And so whatever positive things you might want to share, or just any hope that you might want to bring to people who are struggling with cancer.
Hi. So my situation is I've been living with metastatic breast cancer for 14 years. So I've been in treatment for 14 years, long time. In this case, it's not a matter of going through treatment and then coping with the time after. Every journey is its own journey and has its ups and downs. This journey continues, hopefully, for a long time. But for many, it's a precarious time with rough seas, and you never know if you'll be staying up above the water or sinking down. I remember back when I was diagnosed in 2002, and I was diagnosed rather young. I went to what was then the wellness community, to the young persons group, because I was seeking my peers to discuss similar situations, our experiences, our hopes, our doubts, our anxiety, everything. So there's someone who understood our journey and could help us through it. And all along through the years, as it became the cancer support community and I started attending more groups at the Benjamin Center, the staff, the other survivors, thrivers, co-survivors, supporters, they all provide that direction to that desert island where you can relax, feel comforted, and be yourself, no matter what the situation is at the moment. If it's good, it's good. If it's not good, it's not good, but it's all okay, and you can be yourself. And that's, I think, what we want for ourselves in our lives, is to have the life that we want with the best quality of life that we can get. And for anyone with cancer or without cancer. And the cancer support community provides us a place to be ourselves and to learn to be our best selves while we're going through this. It's not an easy road, but it sure helps to find the amazing, wonderful people that you meet along the journey that open up their hearts and their homes, sometimes their wallets, and help out to make this journey a little bit easier and to make it the most fulfilling possible. If you had asked me in 2002 if I'd be here in 2016, I'd go. If you ask me now if I'll be here in 2020, but I'll make every day count, and that's what's important.
Thank you. Julia, where are you, Miss Julia? Do I have, like 1 minute? Okay, great. I would like to ask each of us, all the four of us, if you had to say one word that, you know, when you think of CSC, what comes to mind? I know it's hard to pick one, but just see if you can pick one, all right? And I cheated because I made up the question, so I already had head time, so I'll go first. Perspective.
Let's say a gift.
Compassion.
Thrivership.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I need like 2 more hours with you, but thank you. Big hand for the three of them. Thank you so much.